Howdy. In today's video, we're looking at the Arca Titron. It is a weapon that is really funny and overpowered as shit and has benefited greatly from recent updates to the game. Not so recent anymore, I guess you could say, because the slam changes that came to the game in Dante Unbound, well, Dante Unbound, I guess it's been like 6 months, so not that recent, but still fairly recent enough to say that it's kind of new-ish for players that may be returning to the game or players that are coming back to the game soon with Warframe 1999. It is a hammer, so it does stuff like a hammer would do, you know, big heavy swings, slow attack speed, that kind of thing. But it has a unique trait, and we'll get to that in just a second. The Arca Titron blueprint, I believe it can be acquired from the, what is this, Energy Lab in the dojo? Yeah, Energy Lab in the dojo. You can craft it, it's not very hard. I think it only takes like Mastery 10 or 12 or something like that. Very easy to get, very new players can get this. Has attack speed of 0.733, range of 2.6, follow through of 40%, which is real rough. But that's the case with all hammers. Crit chance of 24%, crit multiplier of 2, 38% status chance, which is very good, especially for a hammer. 360 total damage, being a split between 126 slash and 234 impact. Pretty decent stats, not like incredible, but not horrible. Then, ignore the build for just a second. The unique trait Slam Capacitor. Melee kills grant the next slam attack 250% damage and 2 meters of range, stacking up to 5 times. Slam attacks apply electricity status effect. So basically, every time you get a kill, you get 1 stack of this, and it goes up to 5 stacks. And each stack is 250% damage, which is additive to things like Condition Overload and Pressure Point. But it used to be multiplicative, though they changed it. It's additive now. And the 2 meters of range is also obviously additive. I don't know why the hell it'd be multiplicative, that'd be weird. But up to 10 meters of range on a slam attack is freaking massive. And 50% damage is also really freaking huge, additive or not. And the slam attacks have forced electric procs. So people obviously build this for slam attacks. That's really the only reason you should build it at all. Otherwise, I don't know why you're using this. There's better hammers for normal attacks. So we want to go with the slam attack build. Now you might be thinking, what the fuck is this build? But I assure you, this is a very quality build. We have normal pressure point, normal organ shatter, seismic wave, shocking touch, melee elementalist, the crushing ruin stance, and sacrificial steel. And then for the arcane, we have melee afflictions. You can make use of a lot of arcanes on this thing, but the 2 main ones are melee influence and melee afflictions. Most people use melee influence because this thing has forced electric procs. So obviously being able to spread those electric procs around and spread the damage around as well with melee influence is very good. But melee afflictions isn't anything to scoff at either, because slam attacks launch enemies, or lift enemies actually, sorry, those are 2 separate things. Slam attacks lift enemies, and lifting them will give us extra status procs with melee afflictions, 6 to be exact. And the guaranteed electric proc from the slam attack is a very big electric proc. It may be 1, but it's really big. So to have that go from 1 to 7 is very nice. And this means we are not reliant on there being groups of enemies. Melee influence, the more enemies are, the more damage you do, but if there's only 1 enemy or there's 2 enemies, you're not doing that much damage. Melee afflictions will always do the same amount of damage on any enemy so long as they can be lifted. If melee afflictions works on that enemy, then you are doing the most damage you can. And this build is still missing mods. All of these mods are unbelievably easy. Yeah, you can get these mods by the time you're like Mastery 6. It is very easy, and we have 2 empty mod slots, not counting the Exilus. We can get way better mods than these, but there's a reason I only have this stuff on with melee afflictions. Now, if we go to my Warframe, we have nothing affecting our damage. Let us go ahead and spawn in these enemies. 20 Corrupted Heavy Gunners, Steel Path, level 205. Now, what do you think is going to happen if I slam these guys? No armor strip, no viral, they're all full HP, no buffs. I have 2 empty mod slots and several definitely not as good as they could get mods on this weapon. Would you look at that? They all died. This kind of enemy right here, these guys that I just killed, this is about in the top 5 chunkiest enemies 99% of the player base is ever going to face. So the question I ask you is, do you really need to build maximum damage on this? Is that even relevant? Not to mention, I did not have slam capacitor built up. I did not have any combo built up. No combo, no slam capacitor. 2 empty mod slots, a lot of questionable mods. And we still eviscerated those guys like they were nothing. Do you really need to build into damage? Because I see so many people building maximum damage, spending thousands of plat to get the most crazy ribbon they possibly can on this thing. But why? Why would you do that? Is that even necessary? Now look, with 5 times slam capacitor, then it's really gonna one-shot these guys. We don't even get a chance for the electric to tick other than the first tick that happens when it's initially applied. That's kind of insane. Or at least if you ask me, it is. So in my opinion, building for damage on this weapon is borderline pointless the vast majority of the time. I mean, the damage we just did to those guys, right? This build on Arca Titron, if you are armor stripping in any way whatsoever and you have viral on the enemy, this is going to be able to go to level cap just fine. This does more than enough damage to kill basically anything in the game. Please, for the love of God, don't buy a max damage Riven for the Arca Titron. It's a scam. Why? Just why? I guess if you want to see like the biggest damage per screenshot possible, you want to hit that damage cap for no reason other than seeing a big damage number, then sure. But if that's not the case, then please don't waste your plat. It's not worth it. So the question is, well, what would you put there instead? So instead of building for damage, it's much better to build for literally anything that gives you comfort, such as Dispatch Overdrive. This is a very nice one. Something people usually go with is Tennokai, because with Tennokai, assuming they don't have high heavy attack efficiency, or even if they do, because you can't get 100% heavy attack efficiency, Tennokai will give you a free heavy attack, which is, well, you want to be doing heavy slams. Though we don't really need this because we can already fully kill those chonk enemies without any help at all while our combo's not even built up. So why would we care about keeping our combo when doing a heavy slam if we don't even need our combo? Kind of pointless. So I'd rather have this massive movement speed buff, which lasts 15 seconds, and this is a movement speed buff. This is different than a sprint speed buff, meaning this will apply when you're like in Ivara's invis, for example. It will make you faster while you're in Ivara's invis. Very, very snazzy. Other than something like that, I'm not really sure. I guess maybe attack speed. I can't remember, and it's hard to tell, but let me know if you know for sure in the comments. But I think attack speed and or heavy attack windup speed may or may not affect how fast you can recover from doing a slam attack. If that is the case, then 100% worth doing, because the long delay before you recover from a slam attack can get very, very tedious very quickly. But other than that, there's not really a whole lot of stuff you need on this thing. You could also go life strike though if you need heals. If you want to heal your guy, like let's say you got a big tanky dude, you're playing a Naros, Corvex, Grendel, any frame like that, you can just get free healing to get yourself to max HP in literally one heavy attack. It don't matter if you got even like 100k HP. This thing's gonna make you get all your HP in a single heavy attack. So you could build it like just like this and be perfectly fine while playing a unmodded mag, for example. You don't need anything else. If you did want to build it for something else or for max damage, there are ways to do that. I'm sure I'm not building it the most optimal way here, not even close, but something like this will be perfectly fine. Corrosive you can put on it because it has forced electric procs, so you can get armor strip on the weapon. Same for viral, though I personally don't think it's really worth it. I don't know why this is named pure electric when corrosive is on it. I have corrosive on this for if I need to get an armor strip in my setup. and I don't have it from an ability or another weapon or something, it does actually work as a sort of primer, you could say, because it has forced electric procs, and forced electric procs means melee influence means spready status procs, so you can just slam attack with this and shabam, all of a sudden everything has max corrosive stacks. So this is actually a pretty good primer on top of being good for killing stuff, so you don't just have to build it as a big PP damage weapon. What I do really like to do is use it as a magnetic primer, because sometimes in a build I will make a build and it will struggle against Overguard. It'll be like ability based build on a Warframe, and I just won't be able to shred Overguard as fast as I would like. For example, my Protea build, I have this in it because I can just slam magnetic everywhere, bam, now all of a sudden the Overguard melts like butter. And this this is still like, this is a primer build and it's going to kill stuff fairly easily. So if I spawn these guys back in, this one is with a melee influence step, so I am going to need to slam twice because the first one is going to proc melee influence. So there's the first slam for it, and then the second slam to kill them. It is sad face not going to kill them. I thought for sure it would. See, you know what I probably did when I used it before? I probably had armor strip on. Still though, respectable damage for a primer melee weapon if you ask me. Since, I mean, I don't know about you, but when I use a primer, usually it doesn't really kill anything on its own. That's just kind of it. I don't really think there's much else to say about the weapon because it's real straightforward. It doesn't take a big brain individual to get, build, or use this weapon. So I guess we'll go into a mission and show it kadonking, shlonking enemies with this questionable build right here. We'll take quickening off, but I'll leave dispatch and life strike on because I can't, so why not? Let's go into a mission now so you can see this thing in action. We have arrived in a what is this thing called? A fissure? Damn, I haven't played this in too long. We are doing a fissure on Steel Path Alchemy because I'm bored of doing Mont Survival for every test, and so we're here instead. Oh me, oh my, I forgot that pressing the triangle button actually throws those things. Whoopsies. Well, the enemies here are actually higher level than Mont anyways, I think. Maybe. I can't actually confirm for sure though, but I think they definitely probably maybe sort of look like they're higher level. Though it don't really matter, they die regardless. Everything dies in the hands of my hammer. Beautiful. Though this does mean I'm actually going to have to play the objective instead of just sitting in a corner murdering stuff, which is what your boy usually be doing. Am I right or am I right? Did what I say just resonate with the younger generation? I don't know. I'm like 90 years old, so people don't even understand what I'm saying. I'm saying like last millennium's slang, I'm sure. This weapon is very funny. I like it. It's not quite as funny as it used to be when it used to have multiplicative damage. It was still overkill, but it was kind of janky, and that was pretty hilarious. Still very, very strong though. No need to not use it. I saw a lot of people doom posting saying that the weapon was dead because they nerfed it by making it not multiplicative damage anymore, which I find just ridiculous. The slam capacitor giving an extra 10 meters on the slam radius and a 1250% damage buff, additive or not, that's still pretty massive, plus forced electric procs. Even if it didn't have slam capacitor, a hammer with forced electric procs would automatically be S tier regardless. Like, every hammer in the game is already really good purely on the basis that it's a hammer, and hammers do big slam damage. And any weapon that has forced electric procs is automatically good purely on the basis that melee influence exists and wants electric procs. So the fact that there's a weapon with those two combined, obviously it's going to be crazy. And then they just slam capacitor on top of it, no pun intended. It's a very, very delicious weapon, and it's so easy to get. It's crazy to me that this is not like a mastery 5 billion weapon because it's so strong. I just realized, am I going to be able to break these? I brought 0 guns with me. Can I melee this thing? Okay, I can melee it. We're big chillin', folks. We're big chillin'. We didn't bring any guns with us at all, just to, you know, go all in on the bonk bonk, no brain, melee slam setup. And we also did not bring a companion because I was too lazy to put one on, and I think I may or may not have said this in another video, like the last couple, that I need to quit slapping Nautilus on everything, or at least with the weapon builds, right? Like if wait, shit, fuck, where's the thing? I'm gonna lose this if I don't whack this right now. Where was I? Yes, I need to not use Nautilus if the build doesn't specifically require it, since showing a weapon build with Nautilus, I have come to the conclusion, is not a fair setup, since Nautilus is game-breaking. I mean, it's Big Sucky, and how could Big Sucky not be game-breaking? I know, words. I'm very good with them. Not really much else to say about this weapon. I think we're about to finish this section, right? Yes, there's extraction. Isn't that insane? Wait, ready. I'm gonna make my friend proud by definitely using this word right, but probably not. He's gonna be mad. That's brazy. Oh, he always gets mad at me and says I used that word wrong. I just know that it's crazy with a B, so I always say it's like, I don't know, butt fucking crazy. Close enough. Anyways, let's go back to the orbiter so you don't have to watch me run to extraction. We've returned to the orbiter. I don't think my mic should be picking up, but if you hear any like weird sounds in the background, it's my dog scratching herself. She constantly does that because she's got a skin problem. Anyways, another thing is I noticed on the way to extraction, I'm dumb, that was not a Fisher mission. It was a Steel Path alert for Steel Essence. Anyways, I was close enough, you know, either way, level 150 something enemies, that's crazy. And, you know, we had the funny, totally optimal build on, and that's all that matters. If you liked the video, then leave a like and subscribe, unless you didn't like the video, in which case leave a very mean and hateful comment so I know that it sucked. That's gonna do it. Adios.